Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Sunil Verma with the news at 9. The headlines. Campaigning ends for second phase of Gujarat Assembly elections. Polling on Monday for 93 seats in 14 districts. President Draupadi Murmu urges all sections of society to motivate Divyangjan to become self-reliant and move ahead in life. India's bioeconomy grew 8 times in last 8 years, says Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh. First G20 Sherpa meeting under Indian presidency to begin in Udaipur tomorrow. Indian shooter Rudraksh Patil clinches ISSF President's Cup in Egypt. And at FIFA World Cup in Qatar, knockout stage begins with clash between US and Netherlands. Argentina to take on Australia later tonight. Campaigning for second and final phase of Gujarat Assembly elections ended this evening. On the last day of campaigning, senior leaders of major political parties made last-ditch efforts to woo the voters. Voting for this phase will be held on Monday for 93 seats in 14 districts spread over north and central Gujarat. Prominent districts like Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Mehsana, Gandhinagar and Patan will be going to polls in the second phase. 833 candidates, including 69 women and 285 independent candidates, are in the fray. The political fate of many prominent leaders, including Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, 7 state cabinet ministers and other BJP leaders like Hardik Patel and Alpesh Thakur will be decided in this phase. Congress leaders Sukhram Rathwa and Jignesh Mevani and Aam Aadmi Party leaders Bharat Singh Bakhala and Bhema Bhai Chaudhary are also trying their luck in this phase. Counting of votes will be taken up on Thursday. We have more from our correspondent.
More than 2 crore 51 lakh voters are expected to decide the political fate of the leaders on Monday, which include around 6 lakhs enthusiastic first-time voters. Nearly 5,400 voters are aged 99 years and above, and 660 NRI voters are also expected to cast their votes. As many as 26,409 polling booths have been set up, out of which 93 are model polling stations and 14 are youth man polling stations. Highest number of 29 candidates are contesting from Bapunagar constituency, while minimum 3 candidates are in the fray at Idar Assembly seat. Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel is the most prominent candidate of this phase, who is contesting from Ghatlodiya seat, which also has the highest number of voters in this phase. With Sushil Chandra Tiwari, Aparna Khun, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar has appealed to voters of Gujarat to come out in large numbers in the second and final phase of assembly polls to compensate for low voting in the first phase. In a press release, Mr. Kumar said Surat, Rajkot and Jamnagar recorded lower than state average of voter turnout of 63.3% in the first phase, which is a matter of concern. Campaigning has also ended for by-election to Rampur and Khatoli Assembly constituencies and Mainpuri Lok Sabha seat in Uttar Pradesh and Sardar Shahar Assembly seat in Rajasthan this evening. Voting for these seats will be held on Monday. Polling for 250 wards of Municipal Corporation of Delhi will be held tomorrow. It will begin at 8 in the morning and end at 5:30 p.m. The counting of votes will take place on Wednesday. Out of 250 wards, 104 are reserved for women. A total of 1,349 candidates, including 709 women and 640 male candidates, are in the fray for the NCD polls. Both BJP and AAP have fielded 250 candidates, while the Congress is contesting on only 247 seats, as 3 of its nominations were cancelled. Our correspondent reports that Delhi State Election Commission has made elaborate arrangements to ensure free and fair elections.
Over 1 crore 46 lakh voters are eligible to decide the fate of the candidates. Around 13,600 polling stations have been set up across the national capital. Out of this, over 3,000 have been identified as sensitive. Of the total polling stations, 68 model polling stations and as many pink polling stations have been set up which are being entirely managed by women staff. Nearly 40,000 Delhi police personnel, 20,000 home guards, and 108 companies of paramilitary and state-armed police forces have been deployed to ensure a hassle-free civic polls. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
Talking exclusively to AIR, State Election Commissioner Vijay Dev stressed on informed voting and urged voters to look into the profile of candidates before casting their votes. He said voters should give a message that their votes are not for sale. Meanwhile, Delhi Metro train services on all lines will start from 4 a.m. tomorrow. The trains will run on a frequency of 30 minutes on all the lines till 6 a.m. BJP leader and Union Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has alleged that the Arvind Kejriwal government in Delhi presented a new model of corruption. Addressing media in New Delhi this afternoon, Mr. Thakur said the Delhi government also misused funds which were sanctioned for labours.
हवाला घोटाला हो, शराब घोटाला हो, जहां बच्चों को शिक्षा के क्लासरूम में भी घोटाले कर गए, डीटीसी बस घोटाला हो, और जिन्हें ठगों को ठगने का काम भी किया हो, जो तिहाड़ में भी ठगने से नहीं हटते, ऐसों ने मजदूरों को भी नहीं छोड़ा है। मजदूरों के मदद के लिए जो हजारों करोड़ थे वो भी आप लूट कर खा गए।
International Day of Persons with Disabilities was observed today. On the occasion, President Draupadi Murmu conferred national awards for the empowerment of persons with disabilities for the year 2021 and 2022 at a function in New Delhi. Speaking on the occasion, President Murmu urged all sections of the society to motivate the Divyangjan to become self-reliant and move ahead in life. She stressed on the need to create a healthy atmosphere for Divyangjan.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय दिव्यांगजन दिवस को मनाने का उद्देश्य दिव्यांगता से जुड़े मुद्दों के बारे में जागरूकता को बढ़ावा देना, उनके लिए एक स्वस्थ वातावरण बनाना है ताकि वे एक सम्मानजनक जीवन जी सके। वे बिना किसी भेदभाव के राजनीतिक, सामाजिक, आर्थिक, सांस्कृतिक तथा खेल जैसे गतिविधियों में भाग ले सकें। ऐसे माहौल का निर्माण करना है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauded the fortitude and accomplishments of Divyangjan on the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. In a series of tweets, the Prime Minister said the government has undertaken numerous initiatives which have created opportunities for persons with disabilities and enabled them to shine. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts. Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh has said India's bioeconomy has grown 8 times in the last 8 years under Prime Minister Modi, from $10 billion in 2014 to over $80 billion this year. Dr. Singh was addressing an international conference on emerging trends in biosciences and chemical technology at Sri Mata Vaishnav Devi University in Katra today. He said biotech startups have grown 100 times in the last 8 years, from around 52 to over 5,300 now. Dr. Singh said a total of 1,128 biotech startups were set up in 2021 alone, signaling the rapid growth of the sector in India. Union Minister of State for Electronics, IT, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, today called upon students to acquire technological and digital skills as innovations and startups will provide job opportunities in the next decade. The minister said, India today is the fastest growing economy and is attracting the highest global investments. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted people on the occasion of Gita Jayanti. In his message, Mr. Modi said, Bhagavad Gita continues to guide people for several centuries. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh participated in the Gita Jayanti celebration organized by ISKCON in Bengaluru today. Speaking at the event, Mr. Singh said, India has never annexed any territory but always fought back the invaders. He said, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna preached Arjun to tread on the path of dharma and fight to protect it. The Defence Minister said, Bhagavad Gita prompts us to seek sublime inner happiness and says that outer materialistic happiness is static and temporary. The nation remembered the first President Dr. Rajendra Prasad on his 138th birth anniversary today. The President, the Vice President and the Prime Minister paid rich tributes to Dr. Rajendra Prasad. President Draupadi Murmu paid floral tributes to Dr. Rajendra Prasad at his portrait at Rashtrapati Bhavan. All India Radio will broadcast the annual edition of Dr. Rajendra Prasad Memorial Lecture today. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will deliver the address. It will be broadcast at 9:30 p.m. across the entire network of All India Radio. Listeners can tune into 100.1 FM Gold, 102.6 FM Rainbow, primary channels of All India Radio, at AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on AIR official YouTube channel, and News on AIR app to access the broadcast.
आकाशवाणी का प्रतिष्ठित कार्यक्रम डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद स्मारक व्याख्यान इस वर्ष का विषय है अमृत काल में भारतीयता, विविध रंगी सांस्कृतिक विरासत का सम्मान। वक्ता माननीय लोकसभा अध्यक्ष श्री ओम बिरला।
तमिलनाडु का भरतनाट्यम हो या केरल का कथकली या लखनऊ जयपुर का कथक हो या फिर असम का बिहू हो, ऐसी सभी शास्त्रीय और लोक कलाओं ने सामाजिक ताने बाने को मजबूत किया है। इनके जरिए हम एक रहे हैं।
सुनना ना भूलें 3 दिसंबर को रात 9:30 बजे आकाशवाणी के राष्ट्रीय नेटवर्क पर।
Doordarshan News will telecast Dr. Rajendra Prasad Memorial Lecture from 10:30 tonight. Lake city of Udaipur in Rajasthan is all set to host the first G20 Sherpa meeting under Indian presidency beginning tomorrow. Representatives of 19 countries, including from European Union and 9 special invitee countries, will take part in the meeting. The 4-day meeting will be presided over by India's G20 Sherpa, Amitabh Kant. India formally assumed the year-long presidency of the G20 on the 1st of this month. During the course of its presidency, India will be holding about 200 meetings in 32 different sectors in multiple locations across the country. India and the US have successfully concluded the 18th edition of joint military exercise Yuddha Abhyas in the Auli district of Uttarakhand today. The US Embassy in India in a tweet said, a joint military exercise like Yuddha Abhyas reinforces their commitment to the Indo-Pacific region, improves interoperability and takes the US-India defense partnership to new heights. Indian shooter Rudraksh Patil has clinched the International Shooting Sports Federation ISSF President's Cup held in Cairo, Egypt. He defeated Italy's Danilo Salazzo in the 10-meter rifle playoff by 16-8. Athletes from 42 nations are taking part in this competition, which began on the 28th of November and will conclude tomorrow. In badminton, Indian shuttler Unnati Huda created history at the Asia Junior Championships in Thailand by becoming the first Indian to enter the final of under-17 singles event of the tournament. She thrashed Japan's Mion Yukuochi in the semi-finals. Under-15 singles player Anish Thuppani and the under-17 men's doubles pair of Arsh Muhammad and Sanskar Saraswat also posted brilliant victories to advance into the finals. The knockout stage of the FIFA World Cup kicked off today with the Netherlands taking on the United States of America at the Khalifa International Stadium. The Dutch were ahead with 1-0 when reports last came in. Both the teams entered the knockout stage remaining unbeaten. In the second match tonight, Group C topper Argentina will face Group D runner-up Australia in the crucial round of 16 match at 12:30 a.m. India time. In cricket, the opening encounter of 3-match ODI series between India and Bangladesh will be played tomorrow in Dhaka. The match will start at 11:30 a.m. Indian time. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Campaigning ends for second phase of Gujarat Assembly elections. Polling on Monday for 93 seats in 14 districts. President Draupadi Murmu urges all sections of society to motivate Divyangjan to become self-reliant and move ahead in life. India's bioeconomy grew 8 times in the last 8 years, says Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh. First G20 Sherpa meeting under Indian presidency to begin in Udaipur tomorrow. Indian shooter Rudraksh Patil clinches ISSF President's Cup in Egypt. And at FIFA World Cup in Qatar, knockout stage begins with clash between US and Netherlands. Argentina to take on Australia later tonight. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.